Hello guys, welcome back to another video. There's the Football Connect. So just like that, football has come to an end. Ladies and gentlemen, 2023-2024 season has come to an end. So we're going to talk about the things that happened today that we just have to, revisit, and we're going to talk about all the old numbers that finished and maybe talk about what Rodri just called or his comments on us now. I felt like they were a little bit, unlike him in a way, and as well as what happens as we go forward. There's a lot of things that happened. Klopp said his goodbyes, De Zerbi as well, and Pep Guardiola just cemented history. There is just a lot. But before we go in further, do me a favor, click the like button, subscribe to the Connect, the best way you support us here at the TFC, whereas we try to analyze football and revisit some of the most old memories. So firstly, before I go any further, I think what is very important is to talk about what happened at the end of the season, which is Manchester City have been crowned champions for the fourth time in a row. Arsenal has finished behind or second from Man City for the second time in a row in this Premier League, and Liverpool back to somewhere we could call to the normal place where people expected them. They are number 3. And I'll try to make sense of that really very soon, so you should really be excited over that one. Aston Villa are the newly promoted team into the Champions League after Unai Emery's side really had one of the best seasons and really shocked so many of us in the way they performed and how they finished this season. Tottenham Hotspurs with Ange Postecoglou had their highest finish in a long time for any managers who's having their first time. They even finished with higher points than even what Jurgen Klopp did, with even what Mikel Arteta did with us now. So there is that glimpse of hope, even though people are complaining with high life for life, mate. And as well, Chelsea, after a crazy 2 seasons with the new changes of the management and everything, Mauricio Pochettino's side have risen and have actually been this is really crazy. Only in the top 6 teams, Chelsea and Man City are the only 2 teams that have won their last 5 games. They won them all, their last 5 games, and that tells you the impact and how they were focused as a team. Newcastle are number 7, United number 8. I don't really know what to say with the United. Maybe we'll talk about them when it comes to them. West Ham are number 9, number 10 are Crystal Palace. By the way, they only had 1 draw, the rest are wins in their last 5 games, with Brighton finishing number 11. Number 12, it's Bournemouth. Fulham 13, 14 Wolves, 15 Everton. Even though they had points deducted in this season, they could have been even higher than this. As well as Brentford, which finished number 16, 17, it's Nottingham Forest, 18, and the first team to be relegated is Luton Town, a team that I thought could be a surprise of the season, which I feel like they were. They lost all. They only drew 1 in their last 5 games. The other ones were losses. Burnley only won 1, drawn 1, and lost the rest of the games. Also, 2019, the team that has been relegated. And Sheffield, with a history of 104 goals scored against them in this season, finished bottom of the league with 5 games defeats. 5 games that they all have been defeated. So I'm going to try to make sense of all these things, people. That's how all the teams in the Premier League finished, and I'm going to try to tell you what my thoughts were and exactly where we are going from here. Starting from number 1, Manchester City. They did a 4P, people. This team has a mental resistance. I don't know how to call it, a mental resistance that so many people don't really have. They know how to fight to the long run. They know how to fight to the end ways. Even Rodri talked about it, that it's a mentality thing. When you want it, when you know it, you go for it. And that's exactly what they do. He was even talking about how he feels like so many of the other teams in the Premier League cannot match to the level of the mentality that this City team has. And I have to agree with them, because with what this team has been doing, with what these teams are willing to cross over to win, they never give up. They fight to the very end. I remember when we were talking about the last 7 games left, and at that point Liverpool was still on top of the league. We talked about other teams dropping points and whatever that was going to happen. Arsenal was second bottom and City were third. And from then, those 7 games, they won them all in a row. Arsenal dropped points against Villa. Liverpool dropped points against so many teams. And all the other teams fell down. Everton beat Liverpool. United drew with Liverpool. Things happened. But with them, they continued. And they did to the very end. And that's how they won the league. Of course, there was a mental thing that even though they had the game in hand, they were still on top. Arsenal was still on top of them, and that tells you everything that you have to know about the team. They know how to fight. They know how to get the season done. They know how to wrap a season. They know how to prepare and fight to the very end. Pep Guardiola will forever be recognized as one of the greatest Premier League managers we've had. I think he's now next to Fergie. So many people were still asking questions about that, and I can't wait to see what he goes to do next, because now he has actually passed the Fergie. Imagine if he goes to even go and surpass the 13 trophies, because he can do it if he wants to. So many people are talking about him. He's about to leave, but he can do it if he wants to, because at this moment, no one is stopping him. And he still looks like he still has so much in his tank to do. It's amazing that this manager, people don't want to rate him because maybe of the City team, of course, because of the 1-1 charges, 1-1-5 charges. But at this moment, it doesn't matter. Football-wise, on the pitch, this guy is the best. And Jurgen Klopp summed that very, very perfectly. He said that whether the 1-1-5 charges comes or whatever they do, Pep Guardiola is one of the best managers in the world. You might say whatever you want to say about the money, but with the achievement that City have gotten, it's all him. It's all through him, and it's all because of him, because he knows how to step up in the clutch times. He knows how to fight to the very end, and he has given those City fans some of the best memories in their life. They will never forget him. They will always hold him as their all-time legend. He is a fighter. He knows what he's doing, and it's amazing to see what's happening here. And like I said, Rodri just called the number 2 team cowards, because he said that they came to Man City when they were supposed to win the league, and this team played, and the way they were playing, they were not interested in winning the game. And the City at that point, they were hit with so many injuries. And he said that tells you the difference between the mentalities of the two teams. You might beat 5 teams 5-0, 10-0. It doesn't matter. If your mentality cannot stand up against the bigger ones, stand up against the world beaters, then you don't deserve to win the Premier League trophy. And that's exactly what Rodri was saying, calling Arsenal cowards. And it's crazy now that we're here. We want to hear what the Arsenal fans will say, but it's crazy. Going to them, they were all crying at the end of the game because of that Aston Villa game. If they'd won that game against Aston Villa, we could be saying something different here, because they won all their other games after that game. But that's all what City needs, for you to drop once and they will kill you. They've done this so many times to my Liverpool, I know, and I think Mikel Arteta get to feel how the feeling feels like. And it's crazy. They did show that they are an improved team. They fought to the very end, but man, nobody's not going to overlook that it's now 4 seasons, and the only 2 times they've challenged for the title, you have not managed to do anything. You have not managed. You still finished with the same amount of trophies like Sheffield United, and Sheffield United are relegated. You can't tell me that you are gonna be talking about how you've achieved when you have not done anything. I'm number 3 as a Liverpool fan, but at least I have a trophy. As small as it is, United could actually have a trophy on number 8. So it's a mentality thing. And at this moment, for this team called Arsenal, it's something that they're still lacking. Maybe they can improve to that one. I don't know. But the number 2, that's where they finished. They celebrated too early. They were already taking photos of themselves in the pitch, bringing family in the ground and stuff like that. And it's all clear at the very end that they're not yet really there. Liverpool finished number 3, a team that was on top of the league. In fact, in this season, the team that was actually on top of the league the most. But we had a mental stroke, should I call it, a mental breakdown that did not even make sense, and it all makes sense. Go look at how they fell down. It tells you everything that you need to know. They need to work on their mental capacity, and that's now the job for Ancelotti. And I feel like because this is a new regime, we could see something different, but also it is a time for us to actually learn to start to build. This was Klopp's 2.0 team. Of course, the injuries played an impact into the game. We had so many injuries, and somehow, somewhere, we could not recover from them. But it tells you everything you need to know about the team. They need to rise from that, and I can't wait to see how they'll do it. But that's what happened. They had a mental stroke, and that's how they fall. But it was no longer about that. When it comes to the clutch time, it was about Klopp's final game. It was about Klopp's final welfare, or whatever you call it, people wishing him goodbye, because he had announced in January that he's leaving the club. And I think they gave him the best send off ever. And I think, a character he is, helping up the new manager, trying to make it as easy as possible, showing us now that he's now on Instagram that he's leaving, giving us so many impactful moments, making it even last so much for so many people who were watching. We saw people like Trent Alexander-Arnold crying, Virgil van Dijk so emotional. A lot of people had to say something, and you could see that they had so much in their hearts to let out, and it's just amazing to watch. So many players are leaving Liverpool. We are talking about at the moment, Joe Matip, Thiago Alcantara. I don't know if there are anyone or any team that will be leaving, but at this moment, those are the players that we know of. And I'm happy that when his farewell tour, Klopp gave Harvey Elliott a debut, giving him a full trust in him, because he's saying that the more thing that he regrets the most is not giving so much game time to Harvey Elliott, because he has seen how much of a good player he is. I think in a way he was trying to show Ancelotti that if you sleep on this boy, you will miss out on one of the greatest players you will ever see in your life. So I think that's why he was giving him so much time to play. But it's exciting. It was all joy and so exciting. And I want to know your thoughts in the comment section. What do you think of Liverpool's performance as a raw, and what are you expecting to see from them going forward? I'll make more season in-depth of all the teams. But as well, let me talk about the top four. The last team, Aston Villa, finishing in the top four for such a long time. Unai Emery, good evening, has to be given so much props for what he has done, how much he has risen this team to become what they are. And it's amazing where they are at the moment, because I'm telling you, they can still go up. They have so much to achieve, and I'm really excited over how they go. Remember, they were playing on Thursday nights in the European Conference League, but somehow they were able to fight to be in the Champions League. Now I wonder what are they going to do in terms of building up, setting up, and be able to fight in all four rows. I'm talking about the Champions League, the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup, as well as the Premier League. It's going to be an exciting season for them. They are now in the big boys points, pences or something like that, or whatever you call it, and they have to step up. That's the only thing I can say. They need to step up. So all the other teams, Tottenham Hotspurs, of course, the last games, they had so many losses in a row, I think 5 or 4, I'm not sure, but they started so well. If they can build onto that, get the players that, Postecoglou wants, this could be an amazing team. This could be an interesting team to see where they go from, but I'm excited. Chelsea as well, they are in the Europa positions. They have to hope that United don't win, people, because if they do, they will also overcome. But when it comes to Chelsea, we also have to look at Cole Palmer, as I feel like he has been one of the best players in the Premier League, a revelation of a character. The way he has been able to rise and how he's been able to keep this team relevant for such a long time, that has to speak so much about him as a player. I can't wait to see what happens with him next season, and I'm really excited because the likes of Moises Caicedo are now starting to show their true colors and what they're capable of doing, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens. As well as Newcastle, I think they're going to be in the Conference League. That tells you it's a drop-off, I understand, but there were so many injuries that they could not deal with. But Eddie Howe, I still believe is the man for the job. I still believe he will stand up and will turn this team into winners. Let's move on a bit to talk about De Zerbi, who have just resigned, according to what we've been told. They have decided to part ways. I don't know what led to that, but that's what I know. He will not be the manager of this team that is called Brighton, because they had a disagreement with the owner. I don't know how things are going to go on, like, really, to be honest, but I'm curious to see how things turn up. All the other team that I'm not going to talk about, people, I'm going to talk about them in their own time, as we are going to be doing an interesting week where we analyze the Premier League teams one by one, day after day, starting from tomorrow going forward. So it's going to be exciting to see. Just talking about Luton Town, It was a surprising team. I was excited over what they did. I thought they could stay in the Premier League, but somehow they just could not deal with the injuries that they'd suffered. But anyway, it's been an amazing season to the Premier League. This was just my review of all the things that happened in the last day. I'll be back again to analyze team by team and everything that I thought of the Premier League. Do me a favor, if you're watching from anywhere you are watching, let me know where you're watching us from, and do me a favor, click that like button, subscribe to the Connect, the best way you support the TFC. See me on the other side, people, and I hope you're excited. Let's see what the FA Cup and the Champions League gets for us. But for now, let's kudos. See me and subscribe to the Connect. Peace.